Good morning everybody, how are you doing today? This is Kim Hamer, live on YouTube, and I am sitting in a cafe having a quiet moment of coffee and planning here in Piccadilly Circus in London. I have been to a networking breakfast this morning, and it was a breakfast put on by my old university in Australia. So I went to Monash University in Melbourne between 1988 and 1991, so you do the maths. And this breakfast was hosted by their new Dean of the Business School, Professor Edward Buckingham. And it was about 8 or 9 of us at breakfast. We'd never met before, and we'd just been invited to this breakfast where I think they're trying to build the alumni community and get them more connected in London. Apparently there are 2,000 of us from the Monash University alumni running around London, so what they're trying to do is connect that far better and make it a great resource for the university, but also for those that went there. So we've spent the morning sharing experiences. Professor Buckingham had some really interesting things to say about where the university's been, and about the future of education. He was talking a lot about tertiary education and the fact that it really needed to be more focused on producing work-ready graduates. So rather than just having an undergraduate degree, you need to be actually producing people that are ready to go into the workforce with all of the different skills that requires, like critical thinking and problem solving and communication skills. So it was a really interesting breakfast and lovely to be invited. It was at a lovely restaurant just near the Ritz Hotel in London. But the thing that really what I love about these things is it's very rare these days that I get to sit in a room and be surrounded by Australian accents. So you hear people every so often, you come across and say, oh, where's that accent, and you bond. But not since I first came over here have I really been in a room that is all Australian. So it was just a fantastic morning, and it makes me feel really at home and a little nostalgic for Australia. But what it reminded me of is some comments that friends of mine from Australia made when I first started doing this 30 videos in 30 days challenge. And so I'm connected with a lot of people on Facebook that I went to high school with that I haven't necessarily seen since high school, and a lot of old work friends and people who haven't seen me since I moved to London in 2004. So they haven't heard me, they only know me the way I used to speak in Australia, and to be fair, I can barely remember it. But when I first started posting these videos on Facebook, I had a lot of comments about, you sound so different, I'm fascinated by your English accent. One person actually said it's nice to hear you still have a bit of an Australian twang with some of the words, but you really sound English. And I forget that has been a really big change. I understand that I do sound different. So my sister calls this the Oka-O. She said, I'll be chatting away to you and you'll just sound like him, and then you'll say some word, and she said, and it sounds so English. So I often use the example of the word mark. So when I was living in Australia and still had a really strong Australian accent, we tend to speak up in our nose a bit. So mark is a bit more like Mark. And then I say it Mark now, and I can hear that, in my voice, and it makes me laugh. But what is interesting is this dichotomy of people who say, no, I can still hear the Australian, no, you sound really English, and it's a really funny place to be. There's a sense of being part of two tribes and maybe not really belonging to either anymore. And when all of these people started talking about how different I sounded, I have to say there was a little bit of shock, and maybe even a little bit of grief that I'd lost a little bit too much of my Australianness. I'll still be an Aussie girl at heart, even though London is my home, and for the foreseeable future will be. We'll see what happens in life. But there is part of me that hangs on to that Australianness, that the upbringing that's sort of at the core of me, that stands me in good stead through all of life. So it's just been a really interesting morning to go back and spend time with a whole lot of Aussies. Some of them have been in London for as long and sometimes a little bit longer than I have, so they're not as, they don't have the strong Australian accent anymore, but some have only been here 3 or 4 years, and it's actually just quite nice to listen to. It's really nice to talk about things that are uniquely Australian. So we were having a laugh about the ubiquitous sausage sizzle as a way of getting attention and getting traffic to a store or an event. Sausage sizzles don't seem to be the thing here in the UK, but they're a big deal in Australia. So we were all reminiscing about, you know, what happened to the sausage sizzle and can we resurrect them in London. So it's been quite a nostalgic morning. It's been a really informative morning. You know, hooked up with a couple of great contacts, and I'm now just enjoying coffee and a quiet moment. Well, maybe not so quiet. I am in a public cafe, there's a bit of noise. Quiet moment before I go on to my next appointment later. So I thought I would just share some of those thoughts about my divided heart and the 2 tribes I belong to. I'll sign off here, wish you a fabulous day, and this is Kim Hamer, live on YouTube, signing off. See you tomorrow.